take the risk. He's as good as anybody in the league with the wrist shot. 13:47 to go. Nystrom takes a hit. Fotiu is going with somebody in the back ice. Gord Lane, I think.
Gordy Lane.
Lane and Fotiu. Couple of big men. It's a hold-off so far.
That all started because Nicky went to take him, and Lane gave him a good elbow because Nicky was coming after him like a charge, and Lane gave him a good elbow.
Just two strong men holding on. Now, and the cheer from the crowd tells you.
And for the fans that don't know it, the reason why Nicky's sweater is over top of his head is because usually they have what they call a tie down. What they do is they tie the back of the sweater down onto the pants, and it stops the guy from pulling the sweater over your head, because when you pull the sweater over your head, your arms are immobile and you can't see. But Nicky refuses to tie it down because he says, when the guy takes the sweater over my head, I'm in real trouble.
Nick ended up on top. They will see each other again. 13:38 to go. Second period. 3-1 Rangers. This is New York Ranger hockey.
Showtime, America's total entertainment network, presents blockbuster movies 24 hours a day. There's high-flying adventure, uncut and commercial-free.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am.
It has broken out wild here.
And it's too bad.
Hospodar started to go on the far side. Billy Smith came out of the net, and the bench is empty. Gord, Lane, and Fotiu are going at the left side. You can see Dave Silk here. They're all right out in front. They have all paired up. In the meantime, Lane and Fotiu are down the left side, out of your sight. Nobody can see them. They're going by themselves.
To tell you the truth, from what I saw, Bubba just grabbed Billy Smith and took him off the pile. But from what I saw, Nystrom started to pound on Eddie Hospodar without Eddie Hospodar even dropping his gloves. And that's what I don't like about hockey right now. This has got to be stopped. This sort of stuff has got to be stopped.
There's where Fotiu is, down the far side, just behind those two guys who are standing up. But it was Nystrom and Hospodar, and Phil tells it correctly. Hospodar did not drop his stick, did not want to fight. We've seen him do this before he goes, but this is what happened last year with Nystrom. Remember, he turned turtle on Nystrom, went down, and Nystrom got the double penalty, and the Rangers scored. Nystrom never forgot that.
That's right, and that's what it was. But you see what happens in hockey. That's why when two guys fight, if the other players don't go directly to their benches, they should be thrown out of the game. That's the rule. That's the way they should do it. And they wouldn't have all this garbage.
I think, you know who's out on the ice as well and just skating toward the bench now? Ron Davidson. Everybody came in. I hate to see that.
This is what, to me, is really ugly with the game of hockey. And I don't like it. I never have liked it, and I don't think it has any place to do in hockey. And this was not the fault of the officials at the time.
They couldn't stop it, Phil.
They couldn't stop it, except the rules are that the players are supposed to go to their benches when an altercation breaks
out. Now, if they follow the rules, everybody's going to go home early. 13 minutes and 38 seconds to go. It started with Lane and Fotiu. Nystrom and Hospodar began to go, although again, objectively reporting, Hospodar did not return a punch, didn't even drop his stick or gloves. Nystrom continued to pound him, and all of a sudden Billy Smith came in. I'm not sure why. So that might have been a third Ranger getting in there, but I didn't see.
I think there was a third Ranger. There must have been, because
Smitty wouldn't do that.
Smitty wouldn't have charged out of that. No way.
Fotiu is gone. Lane is gone on the far side. Hospodar went to the Rangers bench. There's Nystrom. Doesn't look very repentant, does he?
Oh, Bobby Nystrom's one of the better fighters in hockey.
Doesn't play a bad game of tennis either. 13:38 to go, second period. 3-1 Rangers. This is New York Ranger hockey. Well, it is the Rangers and the Islanders, and there have been some tough battles in the past. As Phil points out, this is not the game of hockey. One-on-one is going to happen as long as hockey exists. I don't think anybody who follows the sport really wants to see that eliminated. But the brawling, the pushing and shoving, the bench emptying is a bunch of nonsense, and the faster they get rid of it, the better the game's going to be for it.
And you want to know something, Jim, and truly, most players, most good hockey players, do not like this sort of thing. They do not like that brawling sort of thing. And then one of the guys just fell off the bench.
Eddie Johnstone. No, it's been said in the past, Bill, and it's very true that so often, if they would really just let two guys go, there wouldn't be much fighting either, because they all wait to be rescued. Nobody really likes it. They're hoping somebody's going to jump in.
That is so true. It's unbelievable. Everybody waits to be rescued, and usually if they just let the two guys go, there would be no problem. I see number 28, Mikko
Lennon went
Lennon.
out, yep.
I don't know what. Maybe he was the first guy off the bench. Boy, he's learned fast if he is.
I'll tell you something, his teammates won't forget it if he is either. This is going to be a long time sorting out. Here's something else. Look at the way the players are all crowded around the referee. That is also not supposed to be allowed. He ought to chase them all back. That's what that little semicircle is for. And incidentally, he's standing outside of the referee circle, called the referee's crease. In there, they're all supposed to stay back behind the rim. But he's not inside it himself. He can't get there.
Well, you see what happens is the only time that they're allowed in there is when the referee calls them in. But actually, he is not in the circle because he's off to the side. Because this is what I don't like about this. And there's the circle there. Now, for you people at home, that circle there, when a referee goes in there, no player is allowed to go in that thing unless he's invited. And he is standing off to the left, so naturally the guys are going to take advantage of that. And the thing is that he probably has to get it all together with writing, and he's going over with the official scorer now. And this takes more time than it's worth, really, and it could have all been avoided if he would have just sent the players to the benches. And I'm not picking on Ronnie Ricks. I'm not picking on the referees.
Got so bad. No, you'll have plenty of time to do that in the season.
And I will.
Got so bad last year they began to carry little pads around with the referee would stand back and make notations while the two outnumbered linemen, and it's a terrible job they've got. When you get a brawl like that, they can't do anything except try to get in the way of the two fighters who seem to be punishing each other more than anybody else. And they try to separate them, and the referee makes notes. But right now he's got to confer with his linemen, not only as to what happened, but why, how, and who was first, which is really the critical factors in a brawl like that.
And you know, one of the important factors, Jim, is they made that rule where if two guys got into fisticuffs, that the other guys go into the neutral zone or to their benches, so that they wouldn't have this brawling type of scene, and they wouldn't have the benches emptying and the rest of it. But here we are, and they wouldn't have the delays too, which is also very important in a hockey game.
I would suspect, and of course this is predicting a little bit, and I shouldn't do it, that the league is going to take note of this one and come down very heavily, because they've got to do it at the start of the season. You can't wait for the middle of the season. We talked about this, Phil and I and Bobby Hull the other night. Both Phil and Bobby Hull have really crusaded against this type of thing for years. Hull, you'll recall, was ready to stop playing hockey just because of the issue, and brought it, I thought, into more focus than anybody else.
Well, he had taken 2 days off for Jimmy, actually, just to get away from it.
So, with 13:38 left in the second period and the score 3-1 Rangers, this is New York Rangers hockey. Penalties are over, if they ever are.
If I'd venture to say that if this was a regular season game, I doubt very much whether Trottier would be serving somebody else's penalty minutes.
Just on a rough guess here, checking out the penalty minutes that have been assessed, we would guess that they'll be out of the box a week from Wednesday.
Just in time for the opener.
Got some twos going up right now for the Rangers. Beck and Fotiu and J.D. No, I can't read it.
Baker.
Baker, 35.
That's for leaving the crease. And which is a rule.
So Smitty will do the same thing.
So Beck must have been kicked out of the game. And he also got a 2-minute penalty. He probably led the charge over the boards, and they probably assessed that Barry Beck was the first guy off the boards. As far as the Rangers are concerned, Nicky Fotiu gets the original 2 minutes that he and Lane started, and probably for continuing the fight, I'd say.
Tell you what, though, when they finally begin to announce these penalties, we will join Carl Martin on the PA system. We'll watch the action, and you just listen to Carl, let him give you the penalties. because otherwise we'll never get them sorted out up here. Meantime, you can follow the action by watching your screen. And when he starts to get them, we'll just cut down to Carl Martin and see if we can get some hockey played here in the meantime.
Well, it looks like Mike McDougall is going to serve a penalty. Mikko Leninen and Steve Vickers. They're going to serve the penalties. The Islander penalty thing isn't up there yet, so we can't tell you what the penalties are for the Islanders.
Here we go.
Time of all penalties is 6 minutes, 22 seconds. For the Islanders, number 24, Gord Lane, receives 5 minutes for fighting, plus 5 minutes for fighting, a 10-minute misconduct, and a game misconduct. Number 23 of the Islanders, Bob Nystrom, 5 minutes for fighting, a 10-minute misconduct, and a game misconduct. Number 7, Stephen Pearson, receives 10-minute misconduct. Number 19, Brian Trottier, 10-minute misconduct. Number 22, Mike Bossy, 10-minute misconduct. Number 31, Bill Smith, 2 minutes for leaving the crease, 5 minutes for fighting, and a 10-minute misconduct. And now for the Rangers. Number 22, Nick Fotiu, 2 minutes for kneeing, 5 minutes and 5 minutes. That's 2 5-minute penalties for fighting, a 10-minute misconduct, and a game misconduct. Number 23, Ed Hospodar, 5 minutes for fighting, 10-minute misconduct, and a game misconduct. Number 3, Barry Beck, double minor for leaving the bench, 5 minutes for fighting, and a game misconduct. Number 2, Tom Laidlaw, 10-minute misconduct. Number 15, Anders Hedberg, 10-minute misconduct. Number 40, Mark Pavlich, 10-minute misconduct. And number 35, Steve Baker, 2 minutes for leaving the crease and a 10-minute misconduct. Time of all of those penalties, 6 minutes, 22 seconds.
Now, Phil will tell you who's going to be on the ice.
Okay, the game is now going to be played in the penalty box. But anyway, the reason that these guys got all 10-minute misconduct, it was obvious, and I didn't know that they were on the ice, and I should have, and I apologize to you people at home, is because they were on the ice at the time of the altercation, and they did not go to their benches like they were told to do. So obviously, Wicks told them to go to their benches, and they didn't do it.
And the bottom line here is that the sellout crowd at Madison Square Garden will now have to sit back and watch hockey without some of the finest players in the game for the rest of the game.
And the people at home will have to watch the game with some of these guys sitting in the box like Bossy and Trottier and Hedberg and Pavlich, who was playing super. And I don't think that's right.
Well, in any event, we will be skating 3-on-3. Well, no, they will not.
No, we will not. The Rangers are going to be 2 men short, and the Islanders are nobody short. That's what the Rangers are so upset about. There they are there. Well, who? There's the penalty box. That's not the players' bench. That's the penalty box. Maybe we can get a shot of the players' bench. There's nobody there. I think the original knee penalty that Nicky, there's a shot of the players' bench. Well, they got a few trainers there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 7 players on the bench. And now one's coming out. Eddie Johnson looks like he's coming out. Dave Maloney's on the ice, and they're going to have to put somebody else. And they're going to be 2 men short for 2 minutes, and then 1 man short for another 2 minutes, Jim. Well, I had 2 guys, right? Greshner and Rutzelainen.
2 out of 7 in any league. All right. 13:47 to go. Nystrom takes a hit. Fotiu is going with somebody in the back ice. Gord Lane, I think. Gordy Lane. Lane and Fotiu. A couple of big men. It's a hold-off so far.
That all started because Nicky went to take him, and Lane gave him a good elbow because Nicky was coming after him like a charge, and Lane gave him a good elbow.
Just two strong men holding on. Now, and the cheer from the crowd tells you.
And for the fans that don't know it, the reason why Nicky's sweater is over top of his head is because usually they have what you call a tie-down. What they do is they tie the back of the sweater down onto the pants, and it stops the guy from pulling the sweater over your head, because when you pull the sweater over your head, your arms are immobile and you can't see. But Nicky refuses to tie it down because he says, when the guy takes the sweater over my head, I'm in real trouble.
Nick ended up on top. They will see each other again. 13:38 to go. Second period. 3-1 Rangers. This is New York Ranger hockey. It has broken out wild here. Hospodar started to go on the far side. Billy Smith came out of the net, and the bench is empty. Gord, Lane, and Fotiu are going at the left side. You can see Dave Silk here. They're all right out in front. They have all paired up. In the meantime, Lane and Fotiu are down the left side, out of your sight. Nobody can see them. They're going by themselves.
To tell you the truth, from what I saw, Bubba just grabbed Billy Smith and took him off the pile. But from what I saw, Nystrom started to pound on Eddie Hospodar without Eddie Hospodar even dropping his gloves. And that's what I don't like about hockey right now. This has got to be stopped. This sort of stuff has got to be stopped.
There's where Fotiu is, down the far side, just behind those two guys who are standing up. But it was Nystrom and Hospodar, and Phil tells it correctly. Hospodar did not drop his stick, did not want to fight. We've seen him do this before. He goes, but this is what happened last year with Nystrom. Remember, he turned turtle on Nystrom, went down, and Nystrom got the double penalty, and the Rangers scored. Nystrom never forgot that.
Right, and that's what it was. But you see what happens in hockey. That's why when two guys fight, if the other players don't go directly to their benches, they should be thrown out of the game. That's the rule. That's the way they should do it. And they wouldn't have all this garbage.
I think, you know who's out on the ice as well and just skating toward the bench now? Don Davidson. Everybody came in. I hate to see that.
This is what, to me, is really ugly with the game of hockey. And I don't like it. I never have liked it, and I don't think it has any place to do in hockey. And this was not the fault of the officials at the time.
They couldn't stop it, Phil.
They couldn't stop it, except the rules are that the players are supposed to go to their benches when an altercation breaks
up. Now, if they follow the rules, everybody's going to go home early. 13 minutes and 38 seconds to go. It started with Lane and Fotiu. Nystrom and Hospodar began to go, although again, objectively reporting, Hospodar did not return a punch, didn't even drop his stick or gloves. Nystrom continued to pound him, and all of a sudden Billy Smith came in. I'm not sure why. There might have been a third Ranger getting in there, but I didn't see.
I think there was a third Ranger. There must have been, because
Smitty wouldn't do that.
Smitty wouldn't have charged out of that. No way.
Fotiu is gone. Lane is gone on the far side. Hospodar went to the Rangers bench. There's Nystrom. Doesn't look very repentant, does he?
Oh, Bobby Nystrom's one of the better fighters in hockey.
Doesn't play a bad game of tennis either. 13:38 to go. Second period. 3-1 Rangers. This is New York Ranger hockey.
Here was the second period. First of all, it's Nick Fotiu against Gord Lane. Then you'll see Bobby Nystrom against Ed Hospodar. Joins in. I still say, if the owners really wanted to stop fighting, then just drop your gloves and you're out of the game, because you can't fight with your gloves on. But the owners don't want to stop.